Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome to this, the first of our Best of 2023 countdown, and at number 10 is Clear. I don't have a book to hold. I honestly thought I had one on the shelf. When I checked, we sold out of it, so I do apologise for that one. The picture we're using is the thumbnail from the original video review I did of Clear back in the day. And I do love it. I love Cyberpunk. When I was a young guy in my my teens, I think, I started playing a tabletop RPG called Cyberpunk 2020, fell in love with it, fell in love with the genre. I've consumed an awful lot of Cyberpunk media, so when I see something that is Cyberpunk, I actually really look forward to it, but I hope it lives up to expectations. Because there are a few things which need to be part of the story for it to be Cyberpunk for me, and these are all part of my review of Clear. They're not information, facts about Cyberpunk as a genre, but they are relevant to why I like this comic book. First off, it has to be kind of near future. You can do sci-fi which is dystopic and dealing with rampant capitalism in the far future, and like with spaceships and aliens and all that. It's totally possible, but Cyberpunk, it's kind of like got a gritty noir near future feel to it. It's something we are just on the cusp of. It's just around the corner from us. We have a chance to maybe do something to stop it because we can kind of see it coming. Like, futurists are talking about this kind of thing. Things that even like 20, 30 years ago would have been Cyberpunk are now. Which is kind of cool, but also a little bit terrifying, because Cyberpunk is a dystopia. And Clear, yeah, it really does nail that quite effectively. It is close enough to our time, and involves some just technology which we're used to seeing, but more of it. I don't just mean like in terms of quantity, but in the how much of that technology it is, if you get what I mean. And it also needs to be a dystopia. This is a really, really important thing. Cyberpunk should never be something where we look at it and think, man, I can't wait to live in that world. You can basically play around with ideas of it, which might be positive, but it is not a world that is run for the benefit of the people who live in the world. It is run for the benefit of the people on the top. This is basically a huge criticism of late-stage capitalism and hyper-capitalism, for that matter, and it also, like, the people who allow it to take place. Massive corporations who basically control government and media and propaganda. It is all about the people with money trying to make sure that they're the ones who keep the money, and they'll do anything to screw over the people below just to keep them happy and keep spending money. I remember a while ago I saw somebody make a comment about the fact that they're frustrated why women in Cyberpunk, when they have the ability to look however they want due to advanced technology, generally go for like Western standards of beauty, but like up to 11. And I saw that and I was like, I totally get the point they're making. Why wouldn't they just turn themselves into tanks to go and kill people? I totally understand that. But Cyberpunk is dystopic. And if in today's modern era people, specifically women, are bombarded with messaging and imaging and, again, just out-and-out propaganda, saying they are not good enough, they are not beautiful enough, they're not skinny enough, they don't have big enough lips, whatever it has to be, the messaging is there and it's done so people can make money off it. And the beauty and fashion industries may, have some money going towards some women, but the people right at the top, I'm almost certain, are going to be men, and they just want to make sure they're going to keep getting money, so they sell products with the intent that you will buy them to make yourself better. Cyberpunk goes even further with that one, with cyberware kind of things, and full body reconstruction at times. But in this particular case, in this comic book Clear, what we have is this idea that maybe if you're not good enough, you can change your position in the world. Because another Cyberpunk kind of facet of it is everyone has a computer in their head. Central processors, or however you want to describe it. In Clear, is basically something which affects the way you see the world, and you can choose how you see the world, which basically means your version of the world that you're seeing isn't shared by anyone. Other people may have similar kind of things, but it's totally going to be on your experience of how the world is presented to you, which makes you the centre of everything. That is a very capitalistic viewpoint. It is very much this idea that you are the only one that is important, other people can survive without you, you don't need to be part of society, you are just you looking after yourself, and that's the important thing. This is one of the most on-the-nose bits of cyberpunk dystopic stuff that I've seen in a while, and I love that Snyder really heavily leaned into it, to the point that when we get multi-viewpoints of events, including some fantastic artwork in chase sequences, fight sequences, where it cuts around the world in different viewpoints, and you get to see comics and noir and sci-fi and fantasy all come together, and it looks like it could be a mess, but honestly the artist does such a good job that once you get your head around the layout of the page and where the paneling is, it narratively flows and looks absolutely amazing. And the final bit, one other really huge bit of Cyberpunk, is transhumanism, the idea that we can improve ourselves. Now again, this mostly goes down to just our place in the world and making so we are the most important person in the world. We are beyond what we used to be. We have power to control how we perceive all of reality. That seems like a really big leap, but an awful lot of Cyberpunk stuff has done similar things with augmented reality. This is basically like just the top end augmented reality, where you're literally seeing a totally other layer of reality over the top of it. There is twists and turns in this story, and it does end up being part of the actual main mystery narrative, so I'm not going to get too much into that one, but it is done so effectively. As we're speaking of the main narrative of it, it is a mystery. It is a noir story. Now, noir as an element is not something which I think is has to be part of cyberpunk fiction, but it's one that certainly works well with it, especially when artists really commit to it. I mean, you can't really imagine Blade Runner, which is a sci-fi epic movie, without those elements of noir detective fiction in there. And Clear actually managed it really well. We have a detective as the main character solving a mystery, and it leans into this sometimes with fantastic classic imagery, like the seeing through the blinds in a window, but also the neon-drenched glow where you expect in a cyberpunk world. It's basically got everything I wanted, everything I require, should I say, and then a few extra things I wanted and loved. I absolutely adore this comic book. The fact that it's number 10 shouldn't take anything away from it. It's not like it's, a bad comic book, because it's still in my best of the year. If I had to lay any criticism why it wasn't a little bit higher, I kind of wanted a little bit more. There's some really nice story threads and elements and world building in there, which I think could be explored more, and it's such an interesting world to play around with, especially when we do get the reveal at the end. I couldn't help but feel like we could have gone a few extra issues and delved more into what was going on and add more layers to it, and then the conclusion would have been even more satisfying. But that's not to say it wasn't a hugely satisfying conclusion. I absolutely love this comic book. If you're lucky enough to go to a store that has a copy, we sold out. Then go and grab it. Give it a shot. It's not a huge thing. I think there's only 3 issues, but they were like double-sized issues. It is well worth your time, well worth your effort. Of all the cyberpunk stuff I've read recently, it is the one that I keep going back to, and the one I think gets to the crux of why cyberpunk works as a genre, why the idea of dystopia but can still be shiny and interesting and make you buy into it in a certain way is really important to tell these kind of stories. And everything knocked out of the park. Absolutely loved it. That's number 10. We're now going to do like one a day. I think I'm going to take a Sunday off so I can have a breathing space. It unfortunately means we're probably not going to get much in the way of actual reviews. If I can fit it in, I will. I will say I read Beyond Real earlier on today, the free one that Vault Comics has put out. That's got a few little sci-fi elements I really quite enjoyed. Definitely worth checking that one out at some point. But if I don't get any more reviews, at least you're going to get some best of kind of stuff. But that's it for now. Until I see you again, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.